This is me, Cody. And I have been making videos for such a long time. It was literally my entire childhood. But a few years ago, I had to just take a step back and truly think about what I wanted to work on for the rest of my life. And after a lot of failures and thousands of dollars lost, I finally built something that I'm proud of, and I wanted to share that story with you today.
When I was younger, I was extremely self-conscious, and I think that's something that obviously many teenagers go through. The only thing I was really confident in was basically making people laugh. I had wanted to go to college, obviously, to figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. I had a lot of these peers who joined the same network I did, which is now completely gone from the internet. That means also all my old videos are completely gone from the internet. I have no idea why they did that. Nobody was informed. I'm sure there's lots of people in my shoes that wish they could go back and watch their old videos when they were young, and they just don't have the ability. Like, all those videos are gone. I obviously really enjoyed doing it for as long as I did. It was a big part of my life. Obviously, there's still that part of me that kind of wished I was in a different position at the time. I could have pursued it more. I could have put my all into it. For example, my parents, they didn't get it at all. I would have months where I made quite a bit of money. Of course, I was getting paid in US. Obviously been very fortunate, and also I guess I've just picked the right things to spend my free time on that's allowed me to get to the stage where I am today. Now things look completely different. I'm extremely confident in just myself and my own ability. Probably the most important part of being a founder. When I was working on designing and building consumer electronics, which I did for a few years, that was really exciting because I got to work with some of my favorite creators, pitch them designs for products that I worked with artists on, and I worked to actually develop the products themselves, the keyboards, the mice, the molds for them, which were custom, everything that just kind of went inside. So it was really fun. It was a very exciting experience. I basically saw myself trying to start a company that was building these peripherals, kind of like a Final Mouse, High Ground, which was doing a pretty good job. I felt like with High Ground that their keyboards could have always been a little bit better than what they were putting out there, just because for the most part they were using white labeled parts, which is a very common practice. I actually designed some products for Mr. Beast. One of his managers, or basically a CMO that worked with him on Feastables, managed to get a hold of. And this guy really filled me with confidence about this idea. I spent thousands of dollars on these designs, which to me was needed. So it was a really big risk. And unfortunately, he kind of ghosted me after. I still to this day don't think it had anything to do with the products, because very shortly after, he kind of stepped away from Feastables and working with Mr. Beast and that team. Again, I'm still bummed that these products will probably never exist in the world. But at the end of the day, that is what led me into making FitTag. So really, had I not tried to pursue making a business with custom electronics, I never would have ended up doing FitTag. So I took all these skills I built up in product design and in marketing, and that's what I took into building FitTag. In some old notebooks from college, in those notes, I kind of conceptualized what FitTag really is. I became really interested in smaller brands that were big in Europe but just hadn't really made their way to America yet. When I would order these products, most of the time they wouldn't end up fitting. The problem is with European brands, they fit so differently to American brands. I've always had this issue being a little bit taller and having kind of a smaller waist, wider shoulders. It's so hard for me to find clothes that fit. And I thought, okay, there has to be a better way to do this. Like, people can't be ordering all these clothes. The companies, in a lot of cases, end up actually just throwing this stuff out. And the company still wants to take the return because they don't want to lose a potential customer. But really, they can't really sell it again. I thought about this idea and I just thought, okay, there has to be a better way for me to know, at least with a certain degree of confidence, that this is an Italian shirt, for example. It's going to be smaller in most cases, where I might normally be able to get away with a large. For example, this polo shirt is an XL because the brand APC, generally speaking, it's a little tighter, and honestly, it's still kind of tight in these areas. I want to be able to live in a world where I can order products online from cool brands that I like, less likelihood of returning the product, which It's a hassle to the person receiving it, it's a hassle to the brand, it's wasteful, expensive to them. I wanted to just find a way to solve that. I felt like I couldn't build this myself. Obviously, I don't have experience coding apps. So AI has kind of enabled people who otherwise might never be able to make a product, sell a product, or build an idea that they have. In a lot of cases, they're still not the best. They can be hard to use. Now with FitTag, I did things a little wrong in the beginning, which I think every founder does. To me, what was exciting was the idea of an app that I could shop from that had this technology integrated, where by giving a bit of information about myself, I could expect that when I shop from this app, I can find brands that fit similar to the stuff that I already own and like. It opens a world of discovery for brands. So after about a year and 4 months, we actually have built the FitTag Shopify app. There was a lot of time that we were just going into the review process blindly. I know that I've told a lot of people, oh, FitTag is coming, don't worry, it's coming. The truth is that it's very difficult to build a product and to also know when to stop building, when to just launch it. So yes, FitTag is officially on the Shopify App Store. I will put a link in the description or wherever you're reading this. If it's on LinkedIn, then it'll be in the post. Basically, what FitTag is, AI size recommendation tool when shopping online to know which size to order. How do we do this? Well, with the advancement of LLMs and AI, we've been able to basically take in a bunch of information from all types of sources, as well as the measurements that you actually input when you're using the app, and put all of it together to basically recommend you the size. The number one thing I've heard from almost everyone I've talked to, where I've talked about either the subject of ordering clothes online or I talked about FitTag or they asked me about it, is that they have difficulties ordering online, and generally they'll stick to the brands they know and don't go outside of that. And that was my biggest problem with buying clothes online. I thought that it's so dumb that you have to stick to 1 or 2 brands because you know that if you order from anything else, you're really likely to return it. And I wanted to solve that problem. And honestly, I became obsessed with trying to solve that problem. I want to give a big thank you to Chris, who joined me on this kind of journey earlier this year. We really desperately needed a CTO, basically the person who manages the technical capabilities, the back end of the product, usually the person who's managing developers, usually the person who's helped planning the product roadmap. Product roadmaps can also be non-technical, which is, just a product designer or a marketer based on customer feedback, what features actually need to be built out, or just from a standpoint of being able to better sell the product. In a lot of cases, a product can be much easier sold if it has certain features that either customers are asking for or just make logical sense with everything else that you're offering as a product. Okay, so I've told you what FitTag is, why I started it, how I got here. Now let me explain why I'm in Amsterdam and why I've been traveling. I've really never been to Europe or done much traveling outside of, say, places like Mexico for, vacations. It's been really eye-opening. I think I enjoy getting to experience all these different cultures, just getting to meet people. I love meeting people and hearing different stories, and I've gotten to meet so many amazing people already just in the 2 days that I've been traveling. But I really planned this trip because one of our advisors, his name is Ross, bit of a crazy guy. I think he might have undiagnosed ADHD. I think I do too. For the most part, I was convinced to do this and to go to some real events because I never really had. And there wasn't access to really any of that where I live. I decided, okay, I'm gonna take the risk. I'm gonna spend a ton of money to be able to do this. Honestly, so far the trip has been really quick pace. It's really cool. It's one of my first big events that I'm going to be able to actually attend and learn from. I'm hoping to see a lot of great people speak, including Ross, who is an advisor to FitTag. But yeah, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm in Amsterdam. I'm super excited for the event. It's called NXT Commerce. Like I said, it's put on by Ask Phil, which is a big agency, I believe, based here. I'm gonna try to do some filming of the event. Let's see what we can do. Let's see who we can talk to. Hopefully I can do some more chats with other founders or just people in the industry. That would be great. I will take you with me. Let's go.